Let me start with a truth that most men don't want to hear. Women are not impressed by your money, your muscles, or even your so-called alpha status. Those things might catch her attention for a moment, but they don't create the deep, unexplainable pull that makes her desire you when you're not around. What truly gets inside a woman's mind, what makes her feel that strange attraction she can't logically explain, comes down to something far simpler, yet far more powerful: the words you use. Yes, words. Not flashy cars, not a ripped six-pack, not flexing your bank account, just 5 words, spoken with intention, control, and confidence, can make her feel something she doesn't even understand herself. And before you roll your eyes, let me tell you this. If you're the kind of man who thinks women are too complicated to figure out, that's because you've never paid attention to the psychology behind attraction. Here's the uncomfortable reality. Most men fail in relationships because they talk too much, or worse, they say the wrong things at the wrong time. They use words that kill attraction instead of building it. They think being nice and giving compliments will win her over. But guess what? Nice guys are everywhere. Compliments are everywhere. And because they're everywhere, they're cheap. They don't hold power anymore. What women secretly crave, though they'll never say it out loud, is a man who understands the weight of words. A man who knows how to drop a sentence that sticks in her chest long after the conversation ends. That's not about being manipulative. That's about being intentional. That's about understanding human psychology and using it to your advantage instead of stumbling blindly through interactions and hoping she likes you back. Let me make this very controversial. Most men who struggle with women actually deserve it. Why? Because they refuse to grow up. They repeat the same weak patterns, the same "good morning, beautiful" texts, the same boring conversations that lead nowhere. And then they complain that women are too picky or confusing. No, brother, she's not confusing. You're predictable. You're replaceable. And in her eyes, that makes you invisible. But here's the good news. You can flip this script. You can learn how to trigger a response in her brain that bypasses logic and lands straight in emotion. And emotion is where desire lives. See, women are thinkers, but when it comes to attraction, they don't decide who they desire with logic. They feel it. And the right words, spoken in the right way, plant seeds that grow into feelings she can't shake off. I'll give you an example. Think about the last time you heard a song lyric that got stuck in your head. You didn't choose to memorize it. It just stayed with you. That's what the right words do to a woman's mind. They repeat, they echo, they haunt her thoughts. And if you're the one who spoke them, you become the song she can't stop replaying. But here's the catch. Not all words carry that kind of power. You can't just pick up cheesy one-liners from the internet and expect them to work. Women have filters and they can smell desperation. The kind of words I'm talking about are rooted in Stoic psychology, meaning they come from a place of self-control, calm strength, and emotional stability. Stoicism teaches that true power isn't in shouting, chasing, or proving yourself. True power is in restraint, in knowing when to speak, and in choosing words that hit deeper than surface-level charm. Think about it. When was the last time you actually thought about the words you use with women? Do you speak on autopilot, throwing out random compliments and jokes, hoping something lands? Or do you choose words that project certainty, authority, and mystery? Because here's a brutal truth. Your words reveal the man you really are. And if your words are weak, she will never see you as strong, no matter how much you hit the gym. Let me make this even sharper. Women don't fall for men because of what they see. They fall for men because of how men make them feel. And feelings are shaped by language. Your words create the frame in which she experiences you. They can either put you in the category of just another guy or the man I can't stop thinking about. So in this video, I'm going to break down 5 words, 5 simple, powerful words that can change the way women respond to you forever. Not tricks, not pickup lines, not manipulative nonsense. But words that, when spoken with the right tone and timing, awaken a deep sense of desire. Words that go past her defenses, past her doubts, and straight into her emotions. But before we get into those 5 words, you need to prepare yourself for something. This isn't about memorizing magic phrases. This is about becoming the kind of man who can carry these words with authority. If you're lazy, if you refuse to change, if you want everything to come easy, this isn't for you. Because here's the truth. Women don't desire men who play safe. They don't desire men who speak like everyone else. They desire men who dare to be bold, who choose their words like weapons, and who know that silence is sometimes louder than noise. By the end of this video, you'll see why most men never trigger deep attraction, why they stay stuck in the friend zone, and why women leave them for men who seem to have some mysterious magnetic quality. That mystery isn't magic. It's psychology, it's choice, it's discipline, and it's all hidden in the words you speak. So if you're ready to hear the 5 words that can flip the way women see you, stay with me. Because once you understand this, you'll never look at conversations, attraction, or relationships the same way again. Why most men's words kill desire. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Most men destroy attraction before it even begins, and they do it with their mouths. Not by saying something offensive, not by swearing too much, but simply by speaking in ways that show weakness, neediness, or predictability. The wrong words don't just fail to spark desire, they actually kill it. Think about it for a second. You could look sharp, dress well, and even have your life together on the outside, but the moment you open your mouth, she instantly categorizes you. And here's the catch. Once she puts you in the ordinary, forgettable, replaceable category, it's almost impossible to escape it. The harsh reality is this: words reveal the man behind the image. And if your words expose insecurity, desperation, or a need for approval, she will never feel that deep pull towards you. Let's break this down. 1. Talking too much. Most men think attraction is about filling the silence, keeping the conversation flowing, and proving how interesting they are. Wrong. Women don't feel desire when you overload them with words. They feel pressure. Constant talking communicates nervousness. It says you're trying too hard. It says you're not comfortable in your own presence. And if you're not comfortable with yourself, why should she be comfortable with you? The Stoic approach is the opposite. Say less and let your presence carry weight. Silence creates tension. Tension creates curiosity. And curiosity is the spark of desire. 2. Overusing compliments. Here's where men fail the most. They believe women want endless validation. So they hand out compliments like candy. You're so beautiful. You're amazing. You're the most incredible woman I've ever met. On the surface, this seems harmless, even kind, but deep down, it backfires. Why? Because words without scarcity lose their power. If you tell every woman she's beautiful, your words mean nothing. If you say it 10 times a day, it sounds desperate. And worse, it shifts the dynamic. Instead of her desiring you, you're chasing her. Instead of her wondering about your standards, you're showing you have none. Attraction dies because she feels she has already won you without effort. 3. Seeking approval through words. The third mistake is using words as a way to fish for approval. It's when you're always asking questions like, "Do you like me?" or "Am I your type?" or trying too hard to impress her with stories, achievements, or rehearsed lines. She might smile politely, but inside, she loses respect. A man who seeks approval through words tells her one thing: he doesn't approve of himself, and if he doesn't, why should she? 4. Weak or predictable language. Weak words kill desire. Predictable words kill it even faster. If your conversations sound like every other guy she's spoken to, "How's your day?" "What are you up to?" "Good morning, beautiful," then you're already finished. These phrases don't create an emotional spark. They're the verbal equivalent of white bread. Bland, boring, forgettable. Women desire men who bring contrast. Men who create a shift in how they feel. Predictability is safe, but safe doesn't create fire. Now let's make this sharper by painting a scene. Imagine a man named David. He's been talking to a woman he really likes. He thinks the key is to show constant interest, so every morning he sends, "Good morning, beautiful." Every evening he asks, "How was your day?" And when they're together, he nervously fills the space with endless chatter, stories about work, compliments about her looks, and jokes he memorized from social media. On the surface, he's doing what most men would call the right thing. He's attentive, he's nice, he's present. But here's the twist. She feels no spark. In fact, she feels tired. Why? Because David's words make her feel he's trying too hard. His compliments feel empty. His conversations feel forced. and his approval-seeking questions make her sense weakness instead of strength. Now, contrast this with another man. Let's call him Marcus. Marcus doesn't flood her with words. When he texts her, it's short, intentional, and unpredictable. Instead of saying, "Good morning, beautiful," every day, he might say nothing for a while, then suddenly drop a line that makes her think or laugh. When they meet in person, Marcus doesn't overtalk. He listens, he pauses, and when he speaks, his words land with weight, because they're not buried under constant chatter. The difference? David's words kill desire because they scream neediness. Marcus's words create desire because they suggest control, mystery, and calm confidence. Here's the lesson. Men often think they need to add more words to win her over, when in reality, they need to remove the wrong ones. Stop over-explaining. Stop over-complimenting. Stop repeating what every other man is already saying. The Stoic principle here is simple. The more you need to prove yourself with words, the less power those words carry. The less you say, but the more intentional you are when you do speak, the more powerful your presence becomes. Desire doesn't live in long speeches or in rehearsed lines. Desire lives in the unsaid. It lives in the space between your words. And if you can't master that space, you'll keep killing attraction without even realizing it. So, before you even learn the 5 powerful words I'll reveal later, you need to face this. Are your current words destroying your chances? If you're talking too much, over-complimenting, seeking approval, or sounding predictable, then yes, they are. And until you strip away those weak habits, no amount of effort will create the attraction you want. The Stoic power of fewer words. Here's something most men will never admit to themselves. They talk too much because they are afraid of silence. They think silence means weakness, that if they aren't constantly filling the air with words, the woman will lose interest. But in reality, silence, when paired with the right presence, is far more powerful than endless talking. This is where Stoicism enters the picture. Stoic philosophy has always taught that restraint is stronger than excess, that control is stronger than chaos, and that discipline speaks louder than noise. When applied to attraction, this principle becomes clear. The fewer words you use, the more weight they carry. Think about it. When a man rarely speaks, but when he does, his words are precise, intentional, and confident. People listen. They lean in. They pay attention. Why? Because scarcity creates value. The same rule applies to money, luxury, status, and yes, even to words. But here's the problem. Most men today don't trust this principle. They believe they have to oversell themselves. They ramble. They over-explain. They tell women their entire life story in one sitting, as if spilling everything will somehow build connection. But what does it actually do? It makes them predictable. It makes them ordinary. It removes the sense of mystery, and without mystery, there is no desire. Relatability comes in here because every man has experienced it. That moment when you said too much, when you revealed too quickly, when you gave away your thoughts before she had the chance to wonder about them. And what happened? The interest faded. She smiled politely, maybe nodded along, but inside she already knew too much. The spark was gone. Stoic power is the opposite. Stoic power is about patience. It's about letting silence create tension instead of trying to destroy it. When you say less, you force her to lean into the moment. You give her space to project her own curiosity onto you. Instead of her knowing everything, she begins to wonder. Instead of her feeling you are predictable, she begins to sense something deeper. And here's the controversial truth. Women are far more drawn to men who leave them guessing than men who lay everything on the table. When you reveal too quickly, you rob her of the natural process of discovery. You rob her of the chance to earn your trust, to peel back your layers. Attraction thrives in mystery, and mystery is born from restraint. Now, restraint doesn't mean being cold, distant, or completely silent. It means being intentional. It means speaking with purpose, not with nervousness. It means knowing that every word you say should either build connection, create intrigue, or express confidence. If it doesn't, you don't need to say it. Let's bring this closer to everyday life. Think about conversations you've had, not just with women, but with people in general. When someone talks endlessly, repeating themselves, trying to dominate the space with noise, what happens? You tune out. Their words lose meaning because they are everywhere. Now think about someone who rarely speaks, but when they do, they say something sharp, something thoughtful, something that lands. You remember those words. You respect them. You feel their presence long after they stop speaking. That is the Stoic principle at work. Men often forget that attraction is not about speed. It's not about how fast you can impress her or how much you can say in the shortest amount of time. Attraction is about patience. It's about letting things unfold. By speaking less, you give her room to feel. You give her time to miss your presence even while you're still in front of her. The truth is, fewer words equal more power. Every time you resist the urge to overtalk, you strengthen your frame. Every time you hold back from cheap compliments, you increase the value of the words you do use. Every time you let silence linger instead of rushing to fill it, you allow tension to build. And tension is what makes her desire you without understanding why. Men who master this Stoic principle naturally stand apart. They aren't desperate for attention. They don't crumble under silence. They don't rush to prove themselves. They hold themselves like a fortress, calm, stable, immovable. And because of that, their words are no longer just words. Their words become signals of strength. So ask yourself, are your words heavy or are they light? Do people pause when you speak, or do they forget what you just said the moment you stop talking? The answer lies in how much discipline you've built into your speech. Stoicism teaches us that the strongest man is not the loudest, but the one who can control himself. And in relationships, this control translates directly into attraction. At the end of the day, women don't desire men who talk endlessly. They don't desire men who reveal everything at once. They don't desire men who treat words as cheap currency. They desire men whose words feel rare, intentional, and grounded in calm authority. The fewer words you speak, the more she will feel them. The more restraint you show, the more mysterious you become. And the more mysterious you are, the deeper her desire grows, because she feels it, but she can't explain it. 5 words that trigger attraction instantly. By now, you already understand why most men destroy desire with their words, and why speaking less creates more power. But here's where we go deeper, into the 5 words that can shift everything. And before I reveal them, let me say this. These words are not magic spells. If you think you can throw them around without discipline, they'll do nothing for you. You need to carry them with confidence, tone, and timing. Otherwise, you're just another man reciting lines. Here's the problem with most men. They want shortcuts. They want to be told exactly what to say, without putting in the effort to change the way they think, the way they carry themselves, or the way they approach conversations. That laziness is why most men remain stuck, rejected, or trapped in meaningless interactions. If you don't wake up and realize that your words are a reflection of your mindset, then no single phrase will ever help you. Now let's break down the truth. 1. Enough. This is one of the most powerful words a man can use. Why? Because it signals boundaries. Most men are too afraid to set limits. They allow women, society, or anyone else to walk over them, hoping that constant agreement will make them liked. But the moment you can calmly say, enough, you communicate that you will not tolerate disrespect, drama, or unnecessary games. Desire isn't born from weakness. It's born from strength, and women respect strength. 2, no, it's simple but deadly effective. Too many men are yes men, agreeing to everything, saying yes to plans they don't want, yes to favors they can't provide, yes to situations that drain them. Every time you say yes when you mean no, you chip away at your own authority. But when you say no calmly and firmly, you show self-control. You show that your time and energy are valuable. Nothing makes a woman desire a man more than realizing he is not desperate to please her. 3, wait. This word carries incredible psychological weight. Most men rush. They rush to impress, rush to prove themselves, rush to move things forward. That speed screams insecurity, but when you use the word wait, you slow the pace down. You take control of the frame. You show that you are not pressured by time or by anyone's expectations. And here's the kicker. Women desire men who can create anticipation. Wait builds tension. Tension builds attraction. 4, stop. Weak men allow things to continue even when they feel uncomfortable. Strong men know when to say, stop. This isn't about being aggressive, it's about being decisive. Whether it's ending unnecessary drama, interrupting a pointless argument, or halting behavior that crosses your boundaries, stop communicates clarity. It tells her that you are in control of yourself and your environment. And control, real, calm, masculine control, is magnetic. 5. Because. This last word may surprise you, but it's one of the most powerful tools in communication. Why? Because people naturally crave reasons. Most men give flat statements with no depth, and it makes them forgettable. But when you use because, you add weight to your words. You explain, you clarify, and you ground your perspective in logic and conviction. For example, instead of just saying, I don't want to do that, you say, I don't want to do that because it doesn't align with my priorities. That single addition transforms a flat refusal into a statement of identity and purpose. Now here's the wake-up call. Too many men are addicted to weakness in their speech. They sugarcoat everything. They bend their words to avoid conflict. They overtalk when they should be silent. They understate when they should be firm. And then they wonder why women feel no pull toward them. If you recognize yourself in this pattern, then it's time to admit the truth. You've been lazy. You've been predictable. You've been too soft with your words, and it's killing your chances. The 5 words I just gave you are simple, but they're not easy to carry. They require self-discipline. They require you to grow a spine and stop living for approval. They require you to embrace silence, control, and intentionality. And most men will never do it, because most men are comfortable being ordinary. But here's the challenge. Do you want to stay ordinary, or do you want to become the man who speaks with authority, the man whose words cut through the noise, the man who women remember even after the conversation ends? The choice is yours. The Stoic approach to speech is not about manipulation. It's not about games, it's about alignment. If you can align your words with your values, your boundaries, and your identity, then every time you speak, she will feel something powerful, even if she doesn't understand why. That's the secret. That's the reason 5 simple words can flip the way women respond to you. So wake up. Stop wasting your breath on empty lines. Stop flooding women with compliments that mean nothing. Stop using words that reveal weakness. And start mastering the discipline of speech. Because once you do, your words won't just be sounds, they'll be signals. And those signals will trigger the very desire you've been chasing. So let's put everything on the table. You came into this video curious about 5 words that make a woman desire you without even knowing why. And now you've seen the bigger picture. It's not about tricks, it's not about playing games. It's about becoming a man who speaks with authority, control, and discipline. Because here's the truth. Words aren't just sounds. Words are signals. They reveal the man you are on the inside. And if your words are weak, no amount of surface-level effort will save you. But let me hit you with something controversial, something that might sting if you're honest with yourself. Most men don't struggle with women because women are too complicated. They struggle because they are too weak. Weak in their discipline, weak in their mindset, weak in the way they speak. They want women to feel desire for them, but they haven't given women a single reason to. Here's the uncomfortable reality. If your words are soft, if your boundaries are invisible, if you can't control your own mouth, then you don't deserve the kind of woman you're chasing. That's the controversial truth most men don't want to hear. But you need to hear it. Because the moment you stop blaming women, society, or bad luck, and instead look in the mirror, that's the moment everything changes. Now understand this clearly. The 5 words we talked about, enough, no, wait, stop, because are not just tools for attraction, they're tools for life. They represent strength, boundaries, patience, control, and conviction. These aren't just things women respect. They are things that make you a man who can stand on his own, even when nobody is watching. And that's the kind of man women desire, not because he tries to be desired, but because his very presence demands it. The deeper message here is simple. Stop talking like a boy and start speaking like a man. A boy uses words to beg for approval. A man uses words to state his truth. A boy talks endlessly, afraid of silence. A man knows silence is power. A boy gives away his energy to anyone who asks. A man protects his energy and spends it with intention. And if that sounds harsh, good. You need to wake up. Because every day you waste speaking like every other man, you're killing your own potential. You're choosing to stay average, invisible, replaceable. And that's why women overlook you. But here's the opportunity. You don't have to stay there. You can begin right now to strip away the useless words, to cut out the empty noise, and to start carrying yourself with presence and conviction. It doesn't happen overnight, but with discipline, it will happen. And when it does, you'll notice something powerful. Women will respond to you differently. They'll lean in more. They'll respect your silence. They'll remember your words, and they'll feel desire, not because you begged for it, but because you created it through restraint, clarity, and strength. And now, here's where I want to bring this back to you. You've listened this far, so let's turn the focus inward. What are the words you've been using that are killing your chances? Have you been over-talking, over-complimenting, chasing approval with weak questions, or maybe you've been silent, but not in a strong way, in a nervous, uncertain way? Be honest with yourself, because until you face those patterns, you'll keep repeating them. Now I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below and tell me about your experience. What's one thing you've noticed about the way you speak with women? Have you ever caught yourself saying too much or being too predictable and seeing her interest fade? Or maybe you've seen the opposite. Maybe you've noticed how a single word spoken with authority changed the entire energy of the conversation. Share it. I'll be reading and I'll reach out because I don't just want this to be me speaking to you. I want to build a real connection man to man. At the end of the day, here's the truth you need to leave with. Women don't fall in love with noise. They don't fall in love with endless chatter. They don't fall in love with weak, predictable words. They fall in love with presence. They fall in love with authority. They fall in love with the kind of man who speaks less, but when he does, his words land like stone. So let me leave you with this final controversial statement. If you can't master your own words, you don't deserve a woman's desire. And that's the wake-up call you need to hear. Now the choice is yours. Keep living on autopilot, speaking like every other man, and keep being ignored. Or start mastering the power of your words, step into stoic control, and become the man who doesn't just chase desire, but naturally commands it. The decision is yours.